Hello, Lauren Tull here, and I did not sleep last night. I had a bout of insomnia. I don't know if it was because I forgot to take my Lotus Naldestrone or just the times. But it got to the point where it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted to go to an art show today. And I thought, okay, well, I could fall asleep and basically sleep through the art show, or make myself stay up and go. So today I ran around and went to Hello Cake Girl and got a muffin, and went to the Art Brewery Art Walk, which is the brewery is this big warehouse in downtown Los Angeles. It is north of Union Station, like kind of a northeast a little bit, um, tucked in next to the highway, and it's huge. It's like a bunch of what look like converted factories and a bunch of little other warehouse buildings that are being lived in by artists. It's an artist commune. Um, and and I wanted to check things out, see how things were. I'm probably going to write something about it here. I'm also going to write something probably about an Artistic Hope. I'm going to break it up a little bit because I do have a website called Artistic Hope, and I want to keep writing on that site. But I usually write about the brewery. This time I had a different plan for the day. I just took photographs and of things I hadn't written before, like if an artist was doing something different than normal or that I'd seen before, or if it was a completely new person. But I wanted to, and I could wait, but I really wanted to get online and talk about two things that I saw that I think people need to see. The brewery art walk is only open like twice a year for 2 days. And this weekend is the spring version, and there's another one in the fall or winter/winter. This one's only going on to tomorrow, and they have an exhibit of Muhammad Ali photographs that are on display by the son of Muhammad Ali's personal photographer. Yeah, I kid you not. They're just fantastic. I was gonna like write an article tonight and show some of them. I'm like, no, you have to go see these photographs. It's like a photograph of Mandela with Ali, and a photograph of Bob Hope and Sammy Davis Jr. and Ali. And I think he has limited prints for sale, and he also has some like T-shirts and stuff with some of the prints on it. But it's just interesting to meet him and get to to get to see these images. If you're a fan of Ali, or you're a fan of the period where he lived, there's a lot of celebrity photographs. He's got pictures of Sonny and Cher, um, and some serious icons. So that's one exhibit to go look for in the brewery. And the other one, which is interesting, I was going to wait until tomorrow because I didn't know what it was, and I thought it was an animation. It's about the little yellow Pokemon. I think it's a Pokemon, little yellow like character with the ears, and apparently, yeah, I'm not an anime fan. Sorry. Um, Apparently, I think over in Turkey, someone dressed up like this character and was protesting. It was like a Coldplay outfit, and the police started chasing them, and they didn't get caught. And instead, people interviewed him later about this. I haven't seen this. I guess it's something that went viral. Well, these photographer and this group of people realized that it was happening all over the world. So they have pulled together photographs of this character in different like fights for democracy. And that's what I would say the theme of the exhibit is. Plus there's also a little interactive part. There's a great big like tree painted that you can actually write what your wishes are for the future. I myself wrote world peace and plant based because I had a conversation with one of the curators of the show or the art of the work, and told her, and I think she agreed with me that all of that's going on in the world right now is directly tied to climate change. I mean, and it's funny because I don't want to make movies about the environment. I like playing characters. I like being in my imagination. But I think because I'm an imaginative person, I knew the reason I wanted to make Artistic Hope. Artistic Hope is not a nonprofit. And the reason it's not a nonprofit is I wasn't out to raise money for people. I wasn't out to serve people. I wanted to be able to talk about things that needed to be talked about in the art world and in the arts, because America does not treat the arts with the respect that they deserve. And America does not financially back or support artists like they should. And because of that, I honestly think that's one of the reasons why everything is falling apart in America. We are we need to have freedom to be able to express what's going on in our own inner worlds, to be able to connect with each other and to be able to understand each other. And art is a big part of that. And I feel like the environment and what's going on with the environment is also tied with that. There's things that I've seen like environmental advocates do in the arts that I haven't approved of, like throwing tomato soup at what is it? Throwing tomato soup at Van Gogh or Da Vinci. Over in Europe, a protest, they threw it. The painting was safe. It was behind a glass thing. But I'm thinking that's not going to change anything. That's making a statement without really having an impact, when you should be making artwork that actually has a message. And actually there was one artist who I've seen before who had a little exhibit of a Coke bottle, and it was discussion about how plastics are everywhere and creating a toxic environment for all of us. And these are the things, if you go to the art walk tomorrow, to look for and find. Unfortunately, my favorite thing, I didn't see everything. I'm actually probably going to have to go back because I only saw the outside stuff. I usually break it up into like the stuff that's outside, because there are galleries that are kind of open to the outside, or you can walk around and go into them. And then there's these big buildings at one end where you have to go up lots of stairs and go around and circle around. I didn't do those today because it was a gray day today, raining. My knees were killing me. I had no sleep, and I was worried I was going to hurt myself. Like, I was worried that I was going to fall down one of those stairs or something, because I was just I was a little bit out of it. And I was like, I'm actually surprised that I managed to do all the art stuff on the outside, go get muffins this morning, and go to the grocery store today with no sleep. So please go to the Brewery Art Walk if you can. The best way to get there is to take the Red Line and then take the 76 bus if you don't want to drive. Or there's also the Lincoln Heights Dash bus, which is only 50 cents, I think, to take it, and it circles around in that neighborhood. Be careful, though, because it's weird. It kind of circles around in different ways, and you got to have to make sure you get on the right bus going in the right direction. Otherwise, you may take too long to get there. I mean, eventually goes in a big circle, so you'll get there eventually, but you want to take the shortest route from Union Station. The 76 bus is actually the quickest way to go, because it's a straight shot right in front of Union Station. It goes up and over to the art walk, and then you could pick it up right outside the art walk and take it back down. That is if you don't want to drive. You could park I think they're letting people park in the art walk. There's like areas to park within the brewery, because it's open to the public, but the space is limited. So you might want to consider doing public transportation versus driving. That's just my thing. And I'm going to write more about this and there's one other thing. There's a room called the Orca where you get a free Zine about what's going on right now and fighting for democracy. I was wondering, I'm betting I'm going to find more stuff tomorrow. I'm probably going to write one thing for Substack about all the things I saw that has to do with what's going on in the world today about democracy and about political art and trying to make a change and all these little things that I had discovered. It was refreshing, though, to also see people who are still there, still making the art they've been making, still surviving, still thriving. I said to some people because I'm not very sociable. I'm not the kind of person who exchanges names with people or says, "Hey, how are you? I'm so and so." It's more like we just talk. But it's kind of funny because I recognize the fact that some of the artists recognize me because I've been there before. I've been there before. I've been there before. You know what I mean? And I basically say to them, "I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're still here. It's good to see you. It's good to see you, and good to see you're still doing your thing." And I met one woman who I'd never met before. She was new, or I don't think we've ever met before. There was a space. There were 3 artists in this one space, and I knew 2 of the artists I've seen their work before. When the third one was new, I was like, oh, this space has never been open before. This part of it. And we had a long conversation about color theory, which I'm not going to like talk about personal stuff with the art that some of the artists. I was like, oh, I think I made a friend. That's cool. In college, I had a lot of actor artist friends, and I miss having that, I think. Oddly enough, I don't think people out here in California understand the fact that because I went to law school, there's this presumption, and I played a lawyer on television. There's a presumption that's who I am. I had someone in TikTok attack me and say you should change, and I'm like, and I can change to pretend to be somebody else, but you're basically telling me you want me to become somebody else, and that's not mentally healthy. I mean, there are people who can do it to survive, but it can also be incredibly stressful if it's putting you in a position where you're actually trying to change to be someone you're not capable of being at all. I think our mental health requires us to figure out for ourselves who we are and to find a level of integrity where we maintain that versus being pulled apart. And I think part of democracy is all of us understanding the fact that each of us are individuals and each of us have the right to be whoever we are. Let's talk too much about this. I get quirky sometimes. I actually talk to myself a lot because it's harder. I was told I was on a list by Disney and blacklist from the industry. I got cut off, I feel like, from where I was happy for 5 years. And it traumatized me permanently. I don't think I'm ever going to recover from that. I certainly haven't moved on because it meant too much to me. The arts mean too much to me. To be able to see art, do art, be around artists, and to me, acting is art. And and there's more I could say because I have a very odd relationship with the brewery. Because years ago, the first time I went to the brewery, I was asked by a woman named Anne with an organization called Emergency USA that provides relief from the civilian victims of war. They originally were created by a guy in Italy who basically started this organization because of young children who were being blown up from mines. And I wrote a 3-page poem called Green Parrots about the history of this organization, about the history of using mines in war, and how some countries have made them illegal, and some countries are still struggling to do that. And I don't know how this woman knew I was a poet. I don't know how she knew I could do this. I met her at a vegan event, but when we met, she looked at me like she knew who I was, and she looked at me like she was familiar with me and knew what I could do, and just point blank asked me, would you be interested in performing a poem, and writing a poem, performing one for a benefit? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I just did it. So, and it was at the Brewery Art Walk, and I don't know how much money they made, but it was interesting. I read my poem while they showed videos of the work that Emergency USA had done. And so it was really kind of powerful. And there was another guy who also came and was a rapper who did some work with it too, who did a performance as well about it. I wasn't the only one, but still, it was an incredible experience. And I feel like she was trying to introduce me to the brewery. It's a very great communal place. There are Buddhists everywhere, the little Buddhist statues all over the place. And it's just a really safe, good group of people. And there are food trucks there, and it's very family friendly. Some of the artists may not be so much. There are one or two that I would say are a bit on the PG-13 level. But if you're a parent, just keep your eye out and be aware and be smart enough to realize you shouldn't walk into that one, or yeah. So anyways, peace and out.